Entry of counterfeit goods which have denied the country the much needed taxes and also poses not only security challenges but health challenges for the consumers and the country as well. This is a problem that continues to pose a challenge for the government, hence the need to have that problem fixed. And Lindsay Kipkemoi is Deputy Director Enforcement Anti-Counterfeit Authority as we have this discussion. Welcome on set, Bwana Kipkemoi. And straight on, counterfeit products continue to cause health challenges to the consumers, the government, which has to take care of its people. Just in terms of how severe this problem is, where are we as a country?
Thank you so much. First, I would wish to introduce the mandate of Anti-Counterfeit Authority and state that ACA is mandated to combat counterfeits within the country, according to the ACA Act of 2008. And the second mandate of Anti-Counterfeit Authority is public awareness, whereby we ensure that the public are made aware, you sensitize them on the effects of counterfeits or what counterfeits are, how to identify them, and even how to help us in the war against counterfeits. At the same time, we also do research, market research, to ensure that we also get to know the places where counterfeits are so prevalent, such that we can put in measures to reduce them. And the last one is to do coordination with other government agencies, multi-agencies, and the government bodies, law enforcement agencies, to ensure that we have a coordinated effort to ensure that we fight counterfeits. And also, we do advise government on the levels of counterfeit within the country. So that is our core mandate, the mandate that we have to allow or to help the government to fight counterfeits. Yes.
Yeah. Now, on terms of counterfeit in the country now, we know for a very long time there has been the entry through our porous borders of products that cause challenges to the country in terms of health and even to consumers. So in terms of these products that you mostly you mostly get in contact with, which ones are they and how bad is the situation?
Most of the counterfeited products here in Kenya are majorly electronics. A big percentage are electronics. Then they are followed in by other consumables, electronics and accessories. Electronics comes from cables. Then the accessories are the phones, the phones, and of course electricals are part of the phones. And then the phone accessories. Then there's also apparel, shoes, clothing, t-shirts, and all that. That is part of the. Then we also have alcohol. Alcohol is also a major area where it's being counterfeited most of the time, bringing a lot of health and safety issues. So those are the various categories that we have. We also have motor vehicle auto parts. They are being counterfeited. So whenever there is a vibrant sector that is doing good business, moving good sales, it is a candidate for counterfeiting. So that is the measure, such that wherever there is any serious moving volumes to the masses, then expect that counterfeiters will move in to try and eat the market share.
And when you talk about products that are vibrant in the market are the ones that are mostly counterfeited. For example, let's say I am going to buy a new tire for my car. And instead of buying the genuine one, I buy counterfeited one, not knowing or whether it is cheap in the market, that is what I want. What challenges does that have to me as the consumer of that tire?
Now, as a consumer of counterfeits, there is one major thing that you miss. You miss what we call quality. The quality of the product that you are buying or you are using is not certified, it's not measured. I mean, it has not been put to the required standards, such that counterfeiters will never manufacture a product to the required standard. However, if they do that, it is minimal. Since they are looking at profits. For a counterfeiter, he's eating into your market share, not that he wants to give you quality. He wants to get maximum profits out of it. Therefore, if he's going to make a tire, he's going to miss part of the ingredients to ensure that it's of a lower cost. And that cost will cost you as a consumer. The time that tire is going to take on the road is not going to last you. If you were to go in for a 2-year period on the road with your tire, you might find yourself on a 6-month period. So that is now the loss that you are getting, the quality of the goods and the time taken. Therefore, in the long run, cheap has become expensive. Again, these traders have learned that the prices of counterfeits normally are cheaper. Yes, that is what it is. But they have learned to tag it as expensive as the original products. But they are quick to give you a discount. So when the deal is also too sweet, you think twice. Because you need to know. And there are 2 or 3 or 4 P's that I want people to get to know. How to identify counterfeits. The first one is the product. If you are a consumer of a given product, kindly know your product. Such that if you are using that lotion, it had a given type of smell, it has a given texture, kindly get to know that product. Such that if you use it for the first time, then you get to know, or a second time, then you get to know, now this is not the product that I normally use. That should be the first scent that comes to you. The second one is the place where you buy it from. If you are on the street, you buy it from a vendor, or it's dropped to you from a motorbike vendor. Somebody walks around in motorbike trying to supply goods. He cannot give you a receipt to show that he has sold you some goods. Get to know that the probability is a bit high. Then the third one, which should have been the first, is the price, as I told you. Price is always very important. If your good is always 2,000, 2,200, you get it at 1,200, then get to know that there is an issue. That is a very big issue. So those are the ways that you need to look at. The place, product, price, and the packaging. Always before you open an item, there is a package that always you see. Even if it's medicine, you know the packaging. If it is on the wrong packaging, then on the wrong color and all, you will be able to sense. We know always as a human being, there is what we call a sixth sense. It's always right. The minute you doubt, kindly cherry check the sixth sense, because it will tell you, I think there is something wrong here. Yes.
Yeah. And Kipkemoi, now, here's a question. You've talked about all these initiatives that one needs to put in place, the 3 Ps, and know your product, the price, and also the place where you're buying it from. But here's a question where, for a very long time, Kenyans have depended on government agencies for that KEBS sticker. And you find that even the places where people operate from who sell these wares are people who've been licensed by government agencies. So if you look at all these factors, someone would tend to believe and trust that what they're buying is legitimate, is of the good quality. So how do we address the loopholes within the agencies in terms of allowing counterfeits to be in the market?
Now, the government has put in a lot of measures to ensure that counterfeits don't enter the market. And that is why we are in government, and that is why we are paid to ensure that we fight these counterfeits. And the fight of counterfeits is not only one agency. This is a global problem. It cuts across all over. So it's not a Kenyan problem. However, Kenya has to fight its own share of counterfeits within its own market. So what the government has done is ACA has been put in place to ensure that it leads in the war against counterfeits. However, ACA needs to work on a multi-agency platform such that we are not always at the port of entry because of numbers. We are not, all the Kenyan port of entry, not port of entry, is entry points. If you look at all the Kenyan entry points towards Uganda, Tanzania, Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, ACA is a very small unit. We are unable to be in those entry points. However, the Act has given a leeway for ACA to appoint inspectors from the other agencies appointed inspectors such that they can be able to act on behalf of SCA. So that is one that we've done, and we have appointed inspectors from other agencies. Customs officers have been appointed to ensure that they can be able to intercept counterfeits and action against them. Pharmacy and poison boards, KEFIS officers, the National Police also have been appointed to also help us out. However, we have managed to put our officers in the major entry points. All the entry points with OSPBs, that is the one-stop border post, ACA has at least not less than 2 officers on those entry points to ensure that they inspect on daily basis, do inspections of any goods that come in, at the same time intercept any of the counterfeits. However, we have a serious issue of porous borders, such that the borders, not all traders would wish to come through the one-stop border posts. Those smugglers will always look for entry points outside to smuggle these goods, counterfeits, and then they don't pay custom duty. That is what they do. So these porous borders is the issue, and government has tried to address it by having patrols, joint patrols along those border posts or border lines. That is what the government has done to ensure that it reduces. But the borders are too wide. They are very far. I mean, far flung. From one stop border entry point to another one is also far. So at least that is a bigger challenge. The other challenge that we have also is we have communities that are homogeneous across the border. One has a family in Uganda, the other side, and this other side. Same to the same part of Somalia here, of course, even the other part of Sudan, even in the Maasai here in Namanga. So there is a challenge. You can't be able to explain to a person that there is a border here. He has to cross because that's what they have been doing all along. So with that, the homogeneous communities require serious sensitizations, such that they should be able to help the government to also fight the smuggling and entry of counterfeits within the borders. So that is one that ACA is looking at, sensitization, which is part of our mandate, to ensure that we also move around to sensitize some of these communities. Also, what we have done within the inland, the country, we had, last month we had an awareness program. We had an awareness program in Makueni, where we had a week of awareness in the whole of Makueni County. We had our teams who went on a roadshow with the local radio station called Musi FM. And there was enough sensitization to the communities there. Also, there was one in Busia, Bungoma, before the Jamhuri, the Madaraka Day. Yes. So we had another 1 week there of sensitization. And in Mombasa, we also had another one. And soon we are going to Central, Nyeri parts, to do another sensitization. Now,
Kimoy, as we talk about issues to do with smuggling that happen across the borders, and earlier we were talking about, say, the Kenya-Somalia border, which is around 800 kilometers, and we only have one entry point. Now, in terms of making sure that these loopholes are sealed, that even the citizens themselves, through the Nyumba Kumi initiative, help in fighting the entry of these products across our porous borders, what is the government doing in terms of the multi-agency that you're talking about in ensuring that our borders are not porous and that we address the issue of smuggling through these porous borders that we have? What's the conversation, especially with the Ministry of Interior, because this is more of a security matter?
Actually, the borders is a security issue, and it falls under the Ministry of Interior. However, we as members of the multi-agency team, we also participate under the BCOCC, Border Control and Coordination Committee. The government under the Ministry of Interior has put in inland border control checks. We have an inland border control check at Kanyonyo, on your way to Garissa, slightly Matu area. That inland border control check is a multi-agency check whereby all the government agencies who deal with these illicit and all that are always stationed there. It's a permanent border control check that has been put by the Minister of Interior to ensure that in case there are any infiltration of any smuggled goods, counterfeits, substandard, all those, it is intercepted at this point. The other inland border control check is in Kilifi, the bridge in Kilifi. There is a bridge there, whereby there is also another multi-agency team that has been set up. There is also one in Kisumu, slightly after Kisumu town. There is one there, about 20 kilometers, that has been set up. Now, these are the Ministry of Interior initiatives that have been put in place to ensure that they support us as an agency or as an authority and other government agencies to ensure that we stop this influx of counterfeit, substandards, illegal goods into the country. Yes.
And with all this that is happening now, recently we've seen that Kenyans have actually gone through difficult times through consuming illicit alcohol out there and substandard and counterfeited alcohol. In terms of just boosting the fight against such, because this is a health matter, it is a security issue, what is the ACA doing in making sure that the entry of such does not happen and that we get to prevent and not react?
Now, for ACA, I've stated that we put officers at the entry points to ensure that they intercept these goods. The other thing that we've done is we have introduced a system called recordation. Recordation is a system whereby we have encouraged any intellectual property right owner to ensure that he records his products with us. We have a system. We are trying to bring up a database such that all products that are to be imported into this country are entered into that system. You enter the intellectual, the manufacturer is entering the items, he enters his agents, also he gives the contacts of the agents, whether they're in Kenya or outside Kenya. At the same time, he enters the details of the product, including the pictorials of the product. Now, once we've beefed up this database will be our major data to ensure that whatever comes in, we are able to sieve and to have advanced information on whatever is being imported. It will be used by the customs and any other government agency to ensure even the manufacturers themselves, even customers, consumers can be able to log in. Before you import, you can be able to ask and query the system, is this the correct product? And you can be able to see the photos, how it looks like, in 3D, and be able to get to know even the people who are importing. So this is a system that we have put in place. It is currently ongoing. It started 2 years ago. We are still beefing it. So that is one that we've come up to ensure that we eliminate counterfeit goods and we stop it from the source. We ensure that if it is China that is the issue, before they import it from China, they are stopped from there. If it's India, it's from there. If it is UAE, it is from there. Such that we don't fight our traders in the local market. We fight them from out there. So that is the recordation part that we put in place as ACA. The other second thing that we've done also as Anti-Counterfeit Authority, we have automated our systems. Yesterday, we had our launch of ICIPE 2, International Symposium on Counterfeiting, whereby the theme was counterfeits for health. Let's unite against counterfeits for a health and safe future. That was our theme. Now, in this theme, we are ensuring that we want to protect Kenyans against counterfeits. So, in that second method that we want to ensure we fight counterfeits, we are saying we want to automate our systems. We launched this automated system yesterday. This system will ensure that if you are a consumer, wherever you are, seated in your bedroom, seated in your sitting room, you can log into our system and report any counterfeits that you've seen. If you are an intellectual property right owner, if you believe or you see that your product has been counterfeited, you only need to log in. Log in, put in your complaint. It comes to us, we will sort it out. If you are a transporter, wherever you are, then the system is available and it is automated. So that is one part. We've automated our systems. We'll be able to follow up your cases online. follow up everything online the way in the spirit of automation by the government. Definitely, this is what we've done. Now, the third thing that we've done as SCA is the multi-agency operations. We are very active and very ready to do multi-agency operations. At all times, we are available and we have availed our officers and the equipment to do that. Yes.
And this information, for those who have access, say, to all these digital platforms, would be easier for them to access them. But how do we also get this information to far-flung areas of this country who don't have access to reliable internet and such? How do we make sure that the entire country is covered by the information on fighting counterfeit and also just being good patriots on making sure that they produce that which has gone through the relevant checks and balances?
Well, ACA has 6 regions, 6 regional offices. We have a regional office in Kisumu, which covers the entire Nyanza and Western region. We have a team there. We also have a region in Eldoret, which covers the North Rift and part of almost Central Rift. We have Nairobi, which is the head office, and also covers the entire almost part of Central and part of Rift Valley and here in Machakos. We also have a region in Central and a region in Mombasa. These regions are there to do public awareness. On a daily basis, they'll be able to reach into the locals, interact with the communities and also the government agencies. We need that. Therefore, we are able to reach out into them. The other thing that we also do is we reach out using the media. We have social media, which we are very active. We have also the print media, which we also do so. We are also doing conferences like the one that is going on between yesterday and today. This is the last day of our conference. And at the same time, the radio station, the local radio stations, we always put in our word. We also put in presentations in those places to ensure that everywhere is covered within this. The future of what we are doing is we intend to have the schools introduced. We want to introduce the schools such that the curriculum is able to pick in on issues of fighting counterfeits, such that they can be able, let the children grow knowing that they need to consume genuine things, they need to patent, they need to respect patents, they need to respect whatever has been registered trademarks. So this is what we want to introduce, such that from the school, the children get to know that registered trademarks are always respected. We all want them to become innovative, such that if they see any trademarks, whenever they innovate, then they are able also to capture it and register it for protection purposes. So that is the future that ACA is looking at, such that the Ministry of Education would be able to, if they allow us to pick it up, then we can be able to move with them and allow it such that we inculcate it into the children so that they can grow knowing that we need to protect their intellectual property.
And in terms of introducing that into the curriculum, just how far is the conversation?
The conversation has gone so far. We already have a draft curriculum that we intend to introduce. We also have a training curriculum that we also train our traders, we train other government agencies, and we also train our officers and our new officers and retrain them also. So we have a curriculum that is in place for that purpose. So it's a matter of just rolling it out and then putting it in the proper curriculum setup so that it can be trainable in school. Yes.
That is Lindsay Kipkemoi, Deputy Director Enforcement, ACA, Anti-Counterfeit Authority, as we have a discussion on matters to do with counterfeit that do exist in the country and what they are doing to fight that. Remember, the counterfeit products not only affect the taxes that the country collects, but also affects your health and well-being, because that which you produce has not gone through, you consume rather, has not gone through the checks and balances that are needed for you to be able to consume it. And Mr. Kipkemoi, as you continue with your work out there, I invite you to come to our stations here. We have Berur FM, which would be good for you to send your message in the North Rift region, including KTN News. And as we continue to have that discussion, remember, counterfeit continues to pose a challenge to you, to your loved one, hence the need for you to take care right now and in the future. My name is Dennis Aseto. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your viewing and good morning.